we're hearing that the White House press dinner. By the way, I mean, a lot of you will be waking up. A lot of us are waking up this morning. We were watching it from last night, but a lot of you are waking up this morning and to the news that at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, which is a yearly event in Washington, D.C., put on by the Press Association, United States Press Association, and usually they invite presidents as their special guests. So you remember one of the most memorable ones was the one with Barack Obama, right? Or two of them, actually. And Donald Trump, I don't think he went to the last one, but he was at this one. And they were all sitting there in their tuxedos. And you heard gunshots rang out. You saw the Secret Service and the security in the room springing into action and evacuating the entire room because there was a shooting in the hotel where the White House press dinner, the Correspondents' Dinner, was taking place. I don't think it actually started. I think they sat down and gunshots rang out. Now we're hearing that it is a Cole, was it Alan Cole or Cole Allen? And the more we're hearing about him, the more confusing it gets. I know I see a lot of people putting on tinfoil hats because they're looking at this deeply. Lots of perspectives on this one. Lots of perspectives. What is your perspective? Because I'm going to leave it to you. I know immediately, you went online immediately and you saw what was happening in the chat spaces, whether it was X or IG or Facebook or any of the social media platforms. Lots of perspectives. One being that this might be connected to Iran. Well, immediately that was blown out of the water. But as it is still, we haven't really heard much. What we know is that it is a young man, 31 years old, with multiple degrees, academic degrees under his belt. I think he's a chemical engineer, an electrical engineer. He's an engineer. And also someone who I think is a computer scientist. And that's the most we're hearing about him up to this time. We've seen photographs of him with his family, his sisters and so on. Those are being plastered all over the media. And there was a press conference last night. Donald Trump gave a press conference. Yeah, we did learn somewhat from the press conference. I can't say it's a whole lot. I know that folks are saying that it was an assassination attempt. We will see. I suppose once they have done the interrogations, we'll hear more. Or once he's charged. But he had weapons on him, and in the space in which he had the weapons, and we don't know, did he fire the guns or was it that the police, the security? Looking at the footage, right, the CCTV footage, it seems to me, and I'm not making a call on it, I was very tired when I was watching that, still very tired actually, but it seems to me that the security on the ground at the hotel might have fired. I don't know if it's just the security who fired or if the gunman also fired. And we're saying gunman because we heard he was heavily armed. He had guns and other weapons on him. And he invaded the space where the President of the United States and many of the members of Congress and the Senate, journalists from every media house. We saw a report from Wolf Blitzer. He seemed really frightened and shaken up, lost one of his shoes anyway. And we saw quite a few reports coming out of the US into the British media spaces. And all the journalists seemed pretty shaken. Pretty shaken. So I don't think it was a fluke in terms of what really happened and how people felt. Give me a minute. Let me take a sip of my coffee. I'm very tired. Honestly, I'm tired. And this coffee is really bitter. Maybe it is just very strong. It's my husband make it for me this morning. And him said me never drink coffee now, but he made this one. Anyway, I think he take one look at me and say, well, you're very tired. We're not ready. Okay, so Peter, come tell me in the microphone that we're not ready. Look at Peter just as tired. Peter met them and say, both are we tired, man? Come, just 1 minute. This is Peter Baldwin. You see him handsome. No, look. so we're not quite ready.
We're not quite ready at this time.
Okay.
The band is still setting up and wisdom is helping them.
All right. So you see what's happening here? The Jolly Boys are in the house. And we're looking forward to, we're going to have a really great time in the studio this morning. So Mr. Wisdom is here, a chief engineer at IRFM. Do I need to take a break, Peter? I can do it now, even with the 2 minutes, like a minute. All right, let me take, listen, we're just going, you know how we're going to do it this morning? We're going to be like really flexible because Peter tired and me tired. All right. So Peter, let me, you can go ahead and let me just, we'll take a quick break. Yeah, we'll take a quick correspondence dinner last night. The reporting on this is really interesting because they're making it all about Donald Trump, right? But it is the White House Correspondents' Dinner, you know. This is media. It's a press association. I'm talking to Peter off camera. It's a press association. The journalists were there. The members of the press association were there. And yes, while the president is in the house and you need to talk about that, I agree, you still need to put things in context. So here we are, kind of looking at this to see how it is unfolding. So this from the BBC. Donald Trump was rushed to safety after gunshots were fired at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. The suspect was taken into custody by the Secret Service. One Secret Service officer was shot at very close range, but was saved by his bulletproof vest. Trump actually said this after returning to the White House in the press conference we told you about. And the suspect has been identified as Cole Thomas Allen, 31, of Torrance, California, and he's expected to be formally charged in court tomorrow. That's Monday. So far, Allen tells authorities that he was targeting Trump officials. This is CBS reporting, and that police have said earlier that the suspect's motives remain unknown. Law enforcement has been searching an address in California believed to be linked to the suspect. So we'll keep you updated with that. That's what happened at the White House Correspondents' Dinner last night. It's really sad. Lots happening in the West Asia that you commonly call the Middle East. So we're going to say West Asia, right? Because the Middle East is a colonial term that is specifically feeds back to the United Kingdom, Britain, and its colonial imperialism in that entire region. So it's a Middle East of what? You know, when you're trying to understand why it's called the Middle East, it has nothing to do with the people of the region. It's really Asia, and it's West Asia. So we're going to be saying West Asia, all right? What's happening in West Asia? And one of the things that's happening is that the Strait of Hormuz, the Strait of Persia, I understand that Iran is calling it now, remains closed. And the fallout from that, I suppose, is going to be serious. Oops, that's me. That's my microphone in my headphone in my microphone. Apologies. My deepest apologies. All right, so the Strait of Hormuz remains closed. There's also a blockade, a U.S. blockade. The negotiations, the peace negotiations, which were scheduled to happen on the weekend, was cancelled at the last minute by Donald Trump. But we didn't think it was going to happen anyway, when you think about it. I don't think that Iran even signed off on that. I don't think Iran even left, anywhere to go to no peace negotiations, because they know what the peace negotiations are, what they have been, and what they continue to be. So that those were cancelled, with the U.S. president saying that Iran did not make a satisfactory deal, peace offer. So we're seeing that. Israel is still bombing Lebanon. A journalist was killed last week, Amal Khalil, targeted and killed by Israeli forces in southern Lebanon during a ceasefire, or a so-called ceasefire. So that's ongoing. Those attacks on southern Lebanon are ongoing. It's all part of the plan that Israel has for Greater Israel, and they are going full throttle ahead. They've got Turkey in their sights next, this is what they say. So here we are in this period of absent epistemic anchors. It is what it is, and we're dealing with the isness of things. A period of conceptual confusion and cognitive instability as we move into the new world order, the new economic world order, the new digital world order. Technocracy is a new order. Transhumanism is a new order. So as we move into that, Africa remains in the spotlight because in this transitional period, Africa must unite, and in the words of Kwame Nkrumah, Africa must unite or perish. This is basically where we are now. But we see that Africa is positioning itself, especially in the Sahel, and defining and redefining for itself what Africa should be. In other places, we're not so sure. We're watching. In Southern Africa, Zambia, South Africa, Botswana, they're also positioning themselves and redefining and defining for themselves what this, new global or new world order, who will control it for them and what it will look like for them. So we see some good news coming out there. In Central Africa, it's all a mess, just the same. The mercenaries are there. Colonialism is the order of the day, just the same. Sudan, Congo, the DRC, of course, there's a war that is, and a genocide that's, if you will, this has been for us the greatest genocide, and we don't need to streamline genocides to say which one is great and which one is not. But what's happening in the Congo is really bad, and in Sudan, really, really bad. I don't think there's anything like it anywhere else. So we're watching that, but that's artificial, That's where the colonialists are. Where ongoing colonialism for the wealth from the land is at its highest peak, especially now to drive technocracy on the other side, rare earth minerals and the rest of it. Angola is also in the crosshairs, the Lobito corridor. It's the last thing. It's the last thing that we saw from Joe Biden. Do you notice how American foreign policy, when it comes to Africa, doesn't change? It don't matter which president is in power, who wins, whether it's say Republicans or the Democrats. Have you noticed that the foreign policy of the United States regarding Africa remains exactly the same? And this is enough to tell us that they mean Africa absolutely no good. France is a cancer in Africa. And even as we move to this new global world order, this new world economic order, Africa once again becomes a pivot for them. Have you noticed, for example, that the Pope, whenever there is a new Pope, and we've had, 3 in our time? Some of you have too. That whenever there's a new Pope, one of the first order of business, a massive tour they do, is to the continent of Africa. For what reason? I was going to say, but I'll leave that to you. For what reason? Why do we have these popes going into Africa the way they do and preaching to Africa the way they do? And why do we have Africans buying into this the way we do? It's a conundrum. Jamaica, we're discussing, if you're listening overseas, something called NARA, NARRA, I think it is. It is no different from what happened in COVID. As we said then, and we're saying now again, the DRMA, once that went into play, and Jamaican people clamored for the DRMA, right? We said to you that they would not pull back the DRMA. They would, in fact, build up on that. So we have come out of a health pandemic. We're moving into an energy pandemic, and Jamaican people are clamoring for NARA. Yeah, there are some voices that are outspoken, are speaking out about the dangers of what it looks like in terms of control, in terms of the loss of freedoms. But these are some of the same people who told us that we're going to have to prepare to give us some of our freedoms during COVID. That is a situation, you know. That's a situation. And because we gave up so much of our freedoms during COVID, we rallied for this, we called for this. Academia led this struggle for loss of freedom. Yes? You don't believe it, but academia in Jamaica literally led the struggle, and this is what I'm calling it, for loss of freedom during COVID. I don't know if there was one dissenting voice from academia. We've got 3 top universities in the region. We've got many colleges and community colleges and teachers' colleges, and we've got 4 universities because Mento is now a university, and we have the Money College, which is very close to becoming a university. Out of these halls of academia came a cry. Give up. We're willing to give up our freedom. Lock us down, lock us up. We will not investigate. We will not conduct proper research. And we will be your mouthpiece in the media to convince the masses, we the people, to take the vaccine, to turn out them yard, and to ignore the older ones, the elders in their families. And to turn against each other, because that's what we did. Called it the pandemic of the unvaccinated. And we reported on each other, spit upon each other, kick out each other out of buses if they just sneeze. If they don't have a mask, they could end up in jail. And people did end up in jail for not wearing a mask. The powers that came, that gave the authorities, the place from where that came, is why we're at NARA today. And we're going to move from NARA to, remember me tell you, because it is what it is. And that's how these things go. Once you give up freedom, a small bit of freedom, you're on your way to give up all of your freedoms. Remember now, you know, that this is what fascism looks like. This is what, if you read Animal Farm, do you want to see Jones come back? Or if you read 1984, George Orwell's 1984, or any of the Medical Apartheid is a good book to read, because once the system decides on a solution to fit the problem that they have, then, and people go along with that, then this is what we get. So here we are. All right, we're going to take another quick break and we'll be back with much more inside of Zoom webinar. The topic, EADUMC and JRDC Rastafari Month Series. Resolution AATL 48 declaring chattel slavery gravest crime against humanity. Special guest, part 2, special guest panelist, Professor Vereen Shepherd, Vice Chair of the UN Committee on the Elimination of Racial Discrimination, the third, and the Honorable Ambassador Dr. June Suma, former chairperson of the UN Permanent Forum on the Peoples of African Descent. This, of course, is tomorrow, April 26, 10 a.m. Jamaica time, 11 a.m. in the U.S. and Canada. I'm going to give you the Zoom meeting ID. No password is required. So the ID is 330-788-2217. That's 330-788-2217. The Rastafari Millennium Council, the Ethio-Africa Diaspora Union, and the Jamaica Rastafari Development Community inviting you to this scheduled Zoom webinar. Okay? You know, that's me, you know, I'm just my headphone. It's just one of them morning that, you know, I'm going to try and fix it. So let me just do that. Greetings, my brother Ras Jomo. I'm seeing you. Greetings to my sister Elaine in Tunisia. I'm seeing you. Greetings to Wari Akhenaton. I'm seeing you. Greetings, my brother Andy Lumsden. Seeing you. All right, let me just tell you about the upcoming event. All right, we're trying to get Taitu, Mama Fire's Taitu. Let me know if you're available. All right. The Fire family celebrating the life of a legend, Queen Mama Fire, on April 30, 2026 at 11 a.m. Admission is free. Lots of artists going through tributes to the legend. Libation to the ancestors that will take place is going to be at Portland Rastafari Indigenous Center, White Rock, Buff Bay in Portland. And once again, reminding you that food and refreshment will be on sale. So you're invited to go out and celebrate the life of Mama Fire. That's happening on April 30 and, of course, in Buff Bay, Portland. Listen, the Jolly Boys are here. The Jolly Boys are in the house. We're just trying to get all the sound and all of that together. As a matter of fact, interesting, because the topic we are looking at this morning, when we talk about the Jolly Boys, we're looking at Mento music, sound, and history. The new Jolly Boys, 6 band members, and a little bit about the Jolly Boys, a Mento quartet from Port Antonio, Jamaica. They grew out of a group called the Navy Island Swamp Boys that was formed on the 11th of April 1945, and this group was very popular throughout Port Antonio and earned the reputation of being the finest Mento band in the region. They are in the house. They are ready to perform, but we're just getting things up and going. I'm also going to be having a conversation with them. The current lineup of the Jolly Boys, managed by Monkey Biz Management, carries forward the legacy of the original 1945 group. This new iteration is centered around the single Please Come One and All, and all the upcoming album Rebirth. That's the upcoming album, by the way. The band, as I said before, consists of a mix of experienced musicians and newer members, some of whom have direct family ties to the original group. Carl Thompson, lead vocals. Laurie Christie on the rumba box and vocals. The rumba box is here, you know. All right, we're looking forward to that. What else do we have? By the way, Christie on the rumba box and vocals is a stepson of the original member, Noel Lynch. Noel Howard is on guitar and vocals, a returning veteran from previous lineups. Chantel Valentine is in the house, and she's on vocals and percussion. Akimi, you'll tell me. All right, so I see you coming through, my sister Taitu, on the phone that I'm reading from. we're going to try and get Taitu online, Empress Taitu. Can we send her the Zoom link so that we can have a conversation with Taitu? All right. So, Noel Howard, I did say that, on guitar and vocals. Yeah. Chantel is on vocals and percussion. And A. Jarrett was going to pronounce. Oh, they're up and running? All right. Hold on for me, Taitu. I'll try and come back to you later on. The time we gave you still stand. The Jolly Boys are ready in the house. Or Delana Douglas is on conga and vocals. Who is on the banjo, please? Any banjo over there? No banjo? All right. So I can go ahead and have a conversation with them. 6:55. The Jolly Boys are here. That's me. I need to turn up their thing. All right. Welcome. You're inside of the Africa Forum. This is Running African. What a morning. And we promise you that we're going to be going through Jamaica's music history this morning. Later on in the program, we're going to be speaking with two very special guests. Herbie Miller, who is the director of the Jamaica Music Museum and an ethnomusicologist himself, and also ethnomusicologist Dr. Dan Neely, who has written and researched extensively on Mento, Jamaican music. His speciality, I think, he specializes in Irish music, but he has done a wide study on Mento music in particular here in Jamaica. So they're going to join us on the phone lines later on this morning, but before they join us, we're going to be hearing from the Jolly Boys, and they are in the house. Well, it's the Jolly Boys and one girl who are in the house this morning. All right, let me move this out of the way because I'm not seeing them so well. Do I have anything in your way once I do that shift? No, I'm not seeing them on camera. Can I see them on camera also, please? All right, so I see the guitar, and let me see the rumba box. Okay, all right. And we don't have no thing there. We don't have no banjo. No banjo. All right. So okay. What that? The rumba?
Keyboard.
Or keyboard. Oh, there you go. Now I'm seeing you. All right. So who's on rumba? See the rumba there.
See the box.
Yes. All right. So I'll start. Alicia, morning. What do you have for me? Just come this way. We're good. All right. So we're gonna start with. All right, so this. Let me just correct this from Alicia just now. So the right, that's the Ethiopia Africa. Oh, it's today because today is the 26th, and I'm saying tomorrow is the 26th, but today is the 26th. So pardon-moi, it's today. I'm gonna have to say this again. The Ethiopia Africa Black International Congress, the Rastafari Millennium Council, the Zoom link I gave you just now, the event is actually today at 10 o'clock. Today. Sorry. Yeah, at 10? Yeah, 10 a.m. Not tomorrow. It's today. Not tomorrow. Today is the 26th. All right. Let me go back to the Jolly Boys. It's going to be a morning of music. Before we go to the music, though, let me just have you introduce yourselves. Tell me. Let's start with the lead. Who's the leader of the group? Carl. You may talk on the phone, so I know you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready.
I know you're ready. And so tell us a little bit about yourself, Carl.
Well, I was born in Berrydale and grew up where the rafting goes on. So, I used to see the Jolly Boys by the river, like playing. So I used to just go down there and watch them playing and then walk up back to my home. And then that's where I start from.
Right.
Playing a little rumba box and a little guitar. Me and an ex-friend named Everett.
Yeah. How many years that now?
That's about 33 years now.
Wow. Little bit after IRFM started.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Mento music, it seems that Portland plays a really serious role in Mento music, right?
Of course it is, yes.
All right, so let me hear from the other members. Who we have there now?
Pardon.
Good Good morning. My name is Delana Douglas.
Yes.
And I should greet you by saying Akwaba.
Akwaba.
Yes, our Yanking Pong bless our smarty pray. Shang Pong Nani come sikin bebwa.
No, so hold on, let's slow that down and say it again, make everybody can hear that. Good, good.
Yanking Pong bless our smarty pray. Shang Pong Nani come sikin bebwa.
Come sikim bebwa.
Tikim bebwa.
Tikim bebwa.
Yes, and that means God bless everyone. And
Yes.
may the Queen of Heaven pour down her richest blessing.
Nyankapong. Nyankapong. So we heard, okay. Good,
Right.
good. Mm-hmm.
So I am actually a captain, one of the lead over there in the Charlestown Maroon community over there in Portland.
Yes.
And yes, I am here with the Jolly Boys as well as a group. So definitely it's an honor and a pleasure to be here today, you know, to
Yes.
express and to upkeep this legacy and this culture of music, you know.
Mento music.
Yes.
All right, so who else do we have there?
Morning, everyone. I'm Chantel Valentine. I'm a
Okay.
lover of music.
Right. So we're not seeing Chantel. Who we sing there? We're hearing Chantel, but we're not seeing Chantel. Or I'm seeing you from here. I just want everybody who's watching you online to see. All right, so that's Chantel. So she is. So we said the Jolly Boys and one girl. Yes, Chantel. So you've been with the group for a while.
3 years.
How many?
3 years.
3 years. And how did you get involved with the Jolly Boys?
Okay, so I was home one evening. Then I see call come by to say, Shan, I need you.
There you go.
And I said, for what now? And he said, I wanted to join the Jolly Boys. I was like, yeah!
You know, but it's your girl.
No, I did not say that. I was so excited and I gladly accept the invitation. So
All
here
right.
I am.
Okay, brilliant. We're going to hear all from you in a little while because you're the lead singer, right? You're a lead singer.
No, I am the lead singer.
Who's the lead singer?
Carl is the lead singer.
Carla, you're the lead singer?
Yeah,
Okay. Apologies, Carl.
that's okay. It's all
Sure.
right.
We should know better than that. Yeah, you is the lead singer. All right, so who else do we have there?
Lawrence.
Yeah, my name is Larry. They call me Lawrence Christie.
Yes. Greetings, Laurie.
Yeah, I'm a player of the rumba box.
The Roomba box. We can get a little bit of the sound of the Roomba box here right now before you play.
Yeah,
See there?
they play the bass part of the
At that of the
Mento
Roomba
music,
box.
you know.
How long do you play in the Roomba box?
Since 1963.
Wow.
Quite a while.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. So are you teaching the young people to play the... Are they learning from you? The younger ones?
Well, they're not interested in it.
Yeah.
It don't make much money.
Oh, that's true. That other thing.
Yeah. So,
So how did you get involved with the Jolly Boys? Because 1963 you're playing the Roomba box. Were you in the Jolly Boys from early days?
no, I just joined them 2016.
Okay.
But I was in the other groups before.
Okay. Which other groups?
The Hilton years.
Okay.
I did 16 years at the Jamaica Hilton in Miami Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In those days you're probably running into Ernie Wrangling.
Yes, man.
Yeah,
Meet up all the great guys.
yeah. I'm
But-
sure.
No one ever teach me how to play this thing. I just see those guys was playing one evening, and the Roomba box guy is gone, wasn't there, and I went and sit on the box
Mm-hmm.
and start playing to them a rhythm,
Wow.
and I hear a voice over there say, "But him play better than the right man." And,
Yeah.
from that, the leader said to me, "If I knew you was so good, I would have you with me up by Titchfield Hotel, you know."
Wow. And that time you're a youth.
Yeah, I was.
Because 63, yeah, you must have been pretty young. All right, who else do we have there? The guitarist. Noel. Yes, Noel.
Noel Howard.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not coward still.
No, you're not.
No, I think I'm into this Jolly Boy from 20 years ago now. I'm be with the old Jolly Boy. So I'm one of the members that is the oldest one here.
Yes. When you started?
I started about 20 years back.
Oh, yeah, you did say.
Yeah, with the old Jolly Boy.
And were you always playing the guitar?
Yeah. One night I dreamed see a room with lots of guitar there. And I go to America and I bought a guitar. First year me get, I bought a guitar.
Right. So you get a vision of guitars.
Yeah.
And you travel and you buy one.
You know, I just start on my own.
You teach yourself.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, man.
This is what you call genetic memory and ancestral memory.
So, so I start there with the Jolly Boys. And the older one, them are die and gone.
Yeah.
And then me alone still live here. Me not ready to go yet.
No, man. Not at all. All right, so we're going to talk to you back and forth this morning, so we'll hear some more about those early days. And do we have anyone else? Yeah?
Yes, the keyboard.
The keyboard, yes.
But him recently just joining us now, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Him new.
New, very new.
Very new.
Very new.
Morning, Mr. Wisdom. Mr. Wisdom is still here. Mr. Wisdom, I see you on camera. Morning. That's our engineer, Wisdom. Yes, so give us the name of the keyboardist.
Ryan Barton.
Yes, Ryan. Welcome, my brother.
Respect.
So you're new upon the team?
Yeah, man. The newest recruit, you know? Yeah, man.
Yeah, how old are you? Like about 15. They say you're not
somewhere there about.
Well, yeah, man. I see, man. You're not past 19. All right, so give us a little sound of the guitar. Of the keyboard before we go in. See it there. All right. So we're going to talk to you throughout this. Now, I'm asking a question we're not answer yet. You know the question I'm going to ask, don't you? Which instrument missing?
Which instrument? Banjo.
With the banjo.
But we use the keyboard instead.
For the banjo sound?
For the banjo sound.
All right.
Because back in Portland, you can't get banjo like that. I don't remember seeing a banjo guy in Portland.
Oh. Well, me hear the banjo sound on the keyboard.
Yeah, it's a banjo sound. I just use the banjo sound because the banjo sound is on the keyboard.
All right. So when we come back, I'm going to take a break and come right forward, and then we go into a session, right? How long the session they're going to be? We have a 7:15 break. But listen, give me a good set.
All right.
Right? We need a good set. We are also going to pay tribute to Uncle Ernie Smith. So we don't want to necessarily start there, we'll drop that in the middle, right?
Yeah.
All right.
But of a fact, we don't do much Ernie Smith singing.
Right, but you have at least some money.
I think that was a one Ernie Smith.
That's fine. That's where we're going to go. All right, so we take a break and come back and you give us a good little session,
okay,
right? Okay, so a quick break. I'm walking away because I'm going to be playing Mento, doing Mento, talking Mento. Mento is Jamaican music. And in the house, the new Jolly Boys, 6-band members. All right, just getting people in their proper positions. Go ahead. There you go. We are feeling really, really honored to have in the house with us the new Jolly Boys in the house. In the early 1960s, the Jolly Boys' reputation grew substantially here in Jamaica and globally. They performed at hotels and for private parties. And often they did that alongside a floor show dance troupe. In 1962, the group competed and was a finalist in a national Mento band. This is a competition held at the Ward Theatre in Kingston. The national renown that followed also led to international attention from the Jolly Boys. You know their names. We go up here in the names of the Jolly Boys. We're good around here. All right. Peter is in the house, as I said before. We're streaming live across the world. So please join us to watch the Jolly Boys perform. They're doing so from the studios here at IRA FM. They're in Studio B. I'm in Studio A. We're just having a good time. Peter is also here with me in Studio A, and he's working part-time in Studio B, if not full-time. Our engineer, Mr. Wilbert Wisdom, is also here. So we're mixing down the sound and ensuring that the microphones sound good and everything mixed in properly. Peter, how do we watch, for those who are listening online, on radio 107.1 all the way to 107.9, they can go and watch this live stream. Drop the microphone there for me, please. Let me give us an idea as to how we do that.
All right, so on Instagram it's IRFM official, Facebook IRFM JA, TikTok IRFM 107, YouTube IRFM, KHERU FM. That's our social media platform. So to watch us, it's KHERU FM on YouTube or KHERU FM JA on Facebook.
All right, brilliant. So you see, you can watch your Jolly Boys perform live this morning, and we're already hearing from you all across the world where you're listening. I'm getting personal texts, and we're watching what's coming up online as we are on. So let me go back to Carl and the Jolly Boys in Studio B. Carl, we have a good 10 or so minutes in this segment before we take another break. So we're going to send it back to you. And are you ready for the second segment?
Ready, aren't we?
But Carl, you have to teach me how to dance, Mento. You know? You can't just stand about.
I teach you how to dance, you know, because you're wrong.
Yeah, you teach me how to dance, but I don't remember. I don't remember.
Come again, then.
I can't come on right now because I'm tired. Make Peter show me for that.
Bulldog bite me, boy. Tell me some Morgan tie the bulldog.
Sister B, morning to wherever you are in the world dancing this morning. Welcome, Aquaba. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll mix it down nicely. The engineer, as I said before, Mr. Wisdom is here. And, you know, when I went over to Studio B a while ago and dance and so on, when I went in the Studio B, because Peter, come over here and tell me, say, look here, Studio B sound much better than in here, so. And you can see, we have one of a speaker and all them thing around with me, have on my headphone, and we control them gadget right here, so. And, it's still, Mr. Wisdom, come here, please, sir. Oh, you're right there. There you are. Wanna put the camera up on Mr. Wisdom. Look up there. Mr. Wisdom.
Okay.
Peter, put the camera up on Mr. Wisdom. Mr. Wisdom, why Studio B sound so good over there so where you there? And even though me sound good over here so, me no sound so good like over there so.
No, this is a pre-mix studio that I wired for this condition.
Right.
It's a true to the art.
Right.
So it is pre-test, pre-wired, everything for this purpose, live purposes, so we can hear the real thing going on here.
So we hear everything. So so what is my problem over here, sir? I mean, it's good enough. It's good, but I just want to know what's my situation.
I rectified early. Don't worry yourself.
Are you gonna? You mean to say early? I mean today early?
No, man.
Because Carl, over there, the bass over there,
the new studio upstairs is going to after you go up upstairs. We come back down. You hear the real thing downstairs. So we're gonna modify the studio. So
you know, me all I sweat, I mean, I have not much bass over here. You know, it's
a thing. Stuff, man. Iris gonna upgrade the studio, so when you come downstairs, gonna hear all that.
So we're gonna bring back the Jolly Boy when over here, so upgrade.
Yes, don't worry yourself.
So Mr. Wisdom, so I know you have to go to church, and you're gonna move out shortly, but give us a little backdrop as to what happened today in terms of your setup and or you get all the a little bit about the mixing and the whole story. Okay, people say I'm bullying you. I'm not bullying Mr. Wisdom.
No, this is a live room designed we're designed to do the live mix. Right. So all the line-ins are here. We have a live performance console here, right. And the microphones are here. Everything inside this room. Right. So we just plug the instrument in the mixing board, combine them, mix them, and send them out.
So let me ask you a question. All right. Since I am actually technical operating while I host the program. Right. How long can I leave the studio to go over there to dance to get the feel from over there?
Well, once you keep that board on, this board will do all the work.
And even if something go wrong, we can come back over here so quick.
Yes, because okay, that is just accepting the order from this side live. Right. So once this side is live, that side just accept the order from this room.
Alrighty. Well, thank you so much, because at least I can, I'm doing my thing over here, and I can definitely go to Studio B to get a real bass sound. And Mr. Wisdom, yes. So, because usually we know what goes out in your headphone and what you hear here in Studio A is what goes out to the audience.
Broadcast, correct.
So the audience not getting Studio B sound?
They're getting the real thing in the yes. If you listen to the broadcast, I listen to radio outside. Real good. Okay, what about those live streams? Perfect.
Okay, all right. So una hear it better than me, just as I said. All right, but do not get me wrong. The vibe is really good here too. But over there, so it's A+, and over here is A-. It's that level of thing. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Wisdom. All the best. Pray for you in God church. Yeah, wisdom, because they sing fire, you know. So pray for me when you go to church. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. Mento music this morning on the Africa Forum. And not only can they listen if they don't, if they can't tune in to YouTube or Facebook, or they're not able to do that now, they can listen on the radio or on Flow Channel 822. You can turn the TV on for Flow Channel 822. You can also listen on Digiplay, irfm.net, of course, YouTube, Facebook, etc. And it's all Mento. Carl, or some serious Mento lyrics them there, my brother. Eh? Then solid, man. And so in the next set, what are you, what Carl, you tired yet?
Tired?
I'm a man, I'm saying you're not tired. So, anytime you hear another one really hit me, I'll come over there, come dance with you. Right. So, right. So you're going to give us some of the, you continue to give us some of the old time favorites, right?
Yes.
Morning, Sister P in Portland, Sister P dancing. Morning to Maureen Samuels, Maureen dancing. Morning to Elaine, Williams, Bilson, Indonesia, Elaine dancing. Morning to China, Nicole, China. Morning, my sister, she was at the funeral yesterday. She came in on Friday, was at the funeral, miles away on Sunday, and back in the grill. And I think Joy would really appreciate the fact that we got Mento this morning. So morning to China Nicole, formerly of Zip FM and IRI FM, who is now pursuing her PhD earnestly, and I forgot to defend the dissertation next week, but she's here in Jamaica. Nicole. Morning China and family. Maureen, my sister. Morning. All right. Morning to Wahari again. Morning Ras Jomo. I hope you're all dancing. I really do hope you're dancing. As I said before, call a friend, call a family, and let them know it's 7:47, and we have another set of Mento music. And you need a dancer, Carl?
No, man. We have dancer too, you know. She's a good dancer, you know. But we need to run out here now and then. She. But you need to run out here now and then, you know.
Me coming, man. Because which one you gonna start with?
All right, because Day-oh, day-oh, daylight come from the one go home.
Let me know if you gonna come over there. Look, come here if you gonna come over there. If you gonna come over there. All right, I'll leave it to you. Mento music in the house this morning. Mento music all the way. Go ahead, Carl. I'll leave it to you. This group mainly performed in the parish, but they recorded 2 albums. Roots of Reggae, Music from Jamaica, and Jolly Boys at Club Caribbean, and several 45s. Yeah, why is Taito so? Taito, you're very low. I'm not quite sure what's happening. If it's because you're outdoors, but I have you as high as I. Huh?
Are you hearing me now?
Yeah. Is it me, Peter, or is it? All right, we're going to try and fix that. We're fixing that. But Taito, my sister, tell us a little bit about the events that are coming up in celebration. We've been talking about it since last week for Mama Fire. First of all, how you do? All right, there's somebody with you who I'm actually hearing louder. I'm not hearing you at all. But that's better. That's better.
Okay.
Much better.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, give thanks. So, like I was saying before, I'm good. Times like these just really brings back a lot of memories of Mom, you know. I am here and I'm just thinking of her 70th Earth Strong celebration. I was just saying to Dad, it's one of my fondest memories of the whole journey. You know, it's not been easy, but it is something. It was challenging to do, but we achieved it. And I am happy that we got a chance to celebrate her while she was still here with us. And, you know, we do give thanks.
Yeah, I can just imagine just the recollection and remembering and bringing her again into the material manifestation, because basically this is what the celebration is, even though we understand the ancestral spiritual elements of our Africanness. But let me ask you, the event, there's a big event that is planned to celebrate her. So tell us a little bit about that. When is this going to be? Where? And what exactly is it?
Okay, so on the 30th of April, which is Thursday coming, we will be celebrating the life and works of a legend, Queen Mama Fire, at the Portland Rastafari Indigenous Center. Most ones know it as the grounds for the Battle of Adowa every year that we have been doing for the past 17 years. So that's where it will be kept. My family and I, my siblings, my dad, and all the extended family and loved ones of Mama Fire, because as you know, Mama Fire children, there is so much, not just her biological children and biological family, but she has spread her wings wide during her lifetime and her journey. So, ones from all over will be there. Some of the things on the program, first of all, we'll be starting off at 11 a.m. It's a day in the week, so we don't want to go too much into the night. We're trying to get as much done during the daytime as possible to let ones get back to what they need to do. So we'll start at 11. We will be having vibration as it gets closer to the evening. That will be done by Mama G from the Maroon community there in Portland, in Charlestown. We will also have drumming by the Charlestown Maroon. Most definitely, we will have Nyabingi chanting. As you know, Mama Fire was our Nyabingi Queen Warriors. And we will have lots of artists passing through. I don't want to necessarily call any names because you know how it goes. There are lots of ones listening and they will just show up on the day and do what they need to do
all the
for
time.
Mama Fire.
All the time.
And there will be lots of natural food and juices on sale. As you know, Mama Fire Kitchen, so we'll be representing in full effect with all of our signature dishes that we have been doing over the years. It's just a good vibration. It's just remembering Mom, not forgetting her, all the works that she did, all of her contributions. And we hope to do this each and every year to come. So we're just ensuring that we start now. It's not everything that we want it to be, but give thanks we are able to do this celebration to ensure that her memory lives on.
Yes, and let me just say congratulations to you and to the family, to Father Fire, to the siblings for the way you're keeping Mama Fire's memory alive. For our listeners who are hearing us for the very first time and do not know who we're talking about, tell us a little bit about Mama Fire.
Okay, so Mama Fire was born Pearline Wolf in Kingston, Jamaica by Father David Wolf, which is one of those Rastaman which we just celebrated Groundation Day, the visit of His Imperial Majesty. And my grandfather, David Wolf, my mother's father, was one of those Rastaman who was able to go to King's House and play for His Majesty during that time. So, that's really something. And then there is Solomon Wolf, her uncle. So we are 5 generations of Rastafari. My mother was second generation, and my siblings and I are their children, children. So we are 5 generations. And while Mommy was alive, she was one of the oldest Rastafarians in Jamaica. She was one of the first Nyabingi woman to ever celebrate Nyabingi, be hosting Nyabingi. So Mama Fire opened a lot of doors. She paved ways, not just nationally here in Jamaica, but internationally. I was even blessed to be on a delegation with her to Chile, which was one of the things that let me saw through the eyes of others how much my mother meant, because people who didn't even speak her language, they just showed her such love and affection. There were times when I had ensured that I was behind her, like I was holding to her frock tail, even though I'm an adult, because nobody really cared about me. Everyone is just Mama Fire, Mama Fire, Mama Fire. And I mean, I don't want to get lost in a foreign country. So Mama Fire was just legendary.
And this is the woman, this is the legend, this is the ambassador for Rastafari that we're celebrating on Thursday, her 70th. Thank you so much. Is Father Fire with you?
Yes, he's here. And this is not her 70th, though. This is her 72nd Earth Strong.
72nd. All right.
Yes.
Is does Father Fire want to say hello? Greetings. How we do?
Most definitely, Mama. He does. He's here sitting, listening. So
Father
he's
Fire.
Coming over.
Father Fire, we're not going to go without greeting you, Father Fire. How you do? How you do? How you do?
Green Mama, greeting to the eye and the radio.
Greetings, my brother. Looking forward to Thursday, the celebrations of Mama Fire. But first of all, how are you doing?
Well, Mama, not 100, but give thanks for life and I for fight the back. See, rope and it, but up.
Yes. We don't see you so well because the sun they're right behind you, but it's good. It's good still. Nothing wrong with that. Cause it give you a nice,
Okay.
give you a nice little glow. Yes,
Yeah,
Father
Mama,
Fire.
yeah,
See you
yeah.
there. Yeah, man. So
Yeah.
yeah. So you're holding. The work continues, obviously. How the farm?
Well, the farm going on, Irene, Mama. We just continue with the farm till we can't ease up. Cause the farm is the life source, so we have to just keep it moving.
Yes, and we still have the natural products going in, the coconut oil and all the rest.
Yeah, man. Can't stop,
All right. And anything you want to say quickly about Thursday?
Yeah, man. I just know so well then as time put it, and I looking for the family, even though I know it's at the end of the week where most one have to go work, but who can come in at the day, in at the night, just pull out, because everyone know Mama Fire like that.
Yes.
Mama Fire is just a one who, outspoken and just giving and sharing love
Yes,
at time
yes,
and more
yes.
joy, So we just give thanks to Mama Fire and the family, so everyone who hear about this and can pull out, just pull out.
Pull out.
Like we have
What
a
time it
good
start?
day for Mama Fire.
What time it start again?
11 o'clock.
11 a.m. So get go
Yeah,
pull out
11
early, man.
a.m.
At Buff Bay. You know it done.
Yeah, Buff Bay,
but-
White Rock.
Yes, White Rock, Portland again. Give thanks,
Yeah,
Father
Mama.
Fire. Give thanks, Taitu, my sister. And all the best for Thursday. Make me know if there's anything else we need to say or do. And we'll link you. Taitu, give thanks. Give thanks, Father Fire.
Yeah, man.
Mama, blessings. Rastafari.
Yeah, man, give thanks. Mama Fire, boy, every time. We take a quick break. On Mento Music, and we have in-house the Jolly Boys, the new Jolly Boys. Later on, we're going to be talking with ethnomusicologists, with Dr. Dan Neely, and from right here in Jamaica, director of the Jamaica Music Museum, our brother Herbie Miller will be coming on. We'll be talking Mento music all the time. So the history, the sound, the origin, the instruments, and of course in studio, very special guests right now, the Jolly Boys, 5 boys and 1 girl. Some of the ancients are here in the studio who have been with the Jolly Boys for a very long time. And, I want to talk to a brother who, well, 2 brothers I think we have who have been with in the music business for a really, really long time. I'm looking at them across here. Let me look at the camera. And we heard from both of them just now, Carl, earlier in the program saying, I taught myself how to play this music, a vision of guitars, and a brother go abroad and buy the guitars, come back, teach himself to play. The Roomba box, the same thing. And I want to talk a little bit about what was the response to them in those early days when they started playing music that they taught themselves in, the various bands that they started with, and then ultimately leading up to the Jolly Boys. So I start with the Roomba box, brother. Remind us of your name again, Elder.
My name is Lawrence Christie.
Lawrence Christie. And tell us about the early days. What do you remember of the early days of the Jamaican music? What kind of music was playing at the time when you did make the Roomba box?
It was like rock and roll and music from Cuba. We used to listen mostly to the Cuban.
Like what? Give us an idea of like what. Do you remember any?
Just the ear, Dun, 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 dun. That's it. Dun, 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 dun. That's a Cuban.
Well, that's Cuban, and the rock and roll you were listening to?
Presley and those guys.
Elvis Presley and them.
Yes.
So which one of the Presley song you jump out at you there now?
Don't be cruel to a house that's true.
Go on sing, man. Go on sing. We don't stop you. Because you sound like Elvis. So give me a little bit more. Give me a little bit more there.
I don't know much. I just like...
We'll give you one next Elvis song. All right, okay, we leave it. So what, in terms of Jamaican music, what were you hearing? Any Jamaican music on radio? It was music from Cuba, music from rock and roll?
Yeah, Let's see, touch on the metals, you know. 54, 46, that's my number.
Strum it out on the rumba box with me here. The same tooth say. That I didn't know it. Hold on. you want backup from the keyboard?
I need to remember the ear.
Oh, the ear. You want the keyboard to start you off? It add? Like how me can't carry a tune in a bucket, you know, I don't know what that, you know, but is it that?
You don't really know them song they just.
All right, you
listen to the rhythm, man.
I don't even know those songs neither myself.
I'm the rhythm maker.
What call you know the song, man? Sing like a piece of make
I don't know to song them.
You don't know 54. You don't know 54 from
like one little, just like one little touch of it. I don't know much about it.
You know, Country Road, Take Me Home alone, a film original, but you know Country Road.
No.
I know.
To be frankly, me not really. Mento was just dung in on me so much.
I just Mento your thing there.
Mento. Leave school, me gone down the river where the Jolly Boys and I play up on the riverside.
Right.
Me one walk come up back when then done like 5 o'clock because back then they used to play. They won't get any personal pay from anybody because it was a rafting area in Berrydale. So when the ship come, they used to stay by the riverside and set a hut. So when the tourists them pass, but they make a lot of money. When the tourists them pass, then drop something night. Some used to go down there and listen to them and watch them.
So Mento at the rumba box and the
man.
But them days them did have the banjo though.
Yeah man, those days was the banjo. Banjo still around nothing, but not in Portland.
We want some.
I can't know banjo player in Portland. I see about 2 banjo, but they can't play them.
They can't play them.
Not even myself.
So who play banjo now as far as we know?
Some guys in a Mobile because the other day Mobile Negrilla. The other day me got Negrilla, me see about 20 banjo down there. And the man play them, but they're really in a Portland. Nobody know they hear play banjo now. So we just use a keyboard because the last banjo man that we have died that was Bluetooth. You heard that name? Used to play for Japan.
Yes. So hold on. What about the ukulele? We not put ukulele. Is we use ukulele? Come in on.
Yeah, like them. Yeah.
Come in on.
But Mento don't use. Not even the keyboard. The Mento are using. You know, a grater. Bamboo with it chop up and then.
Right.
Yeah, and then something that come. With the banjo back in those days.
Yeah. So our brother now, was it Douglas? Who the guitarist? Who remind me of the guitarist? Noel. What kind of music? Because you're looking at what 60? Which year that you started playing the guitar?
Well, I about 20 years ago now.
Right.
I start with the old Jolly Boy then.
Okay. And what are some of the songs that stand out to you from back them time there?
You know, in those time I did down in the quadrille thing, you know.
Yes.
Because me grow and me did love the Mento thing there. And the quadrille and something. That's why me get to learn the guitar by myself.
Okay.
You know, so...
So what was the response to you when you started playing the guitar and decided that you're going to go play Mento? Were you readily accepted in the Mento groups?
Yes, the guy where have the name of the Jolly Boy named Moses Deans. So he see me one day and said, man, come give me a check, man. And me go and him carry me guitar with me and him start to play the banjo and me start to make some mistake, yes, but he say, you know, me want you play with me, you know.
Yes.
And from there, so me start, so...
Yeah. And I think Donald Deans is listening to us now, Dickie Deans.
In Die?
No, not that one. Because Dean's in name, Dickie Deans, who is, right... So he is, I had a conversation with him this morning.
Okay.
And he's going to come on at another time, but not this morning. Get well soon, Dickie Deans.
Yeah.
All right. We have a few minutes, so we're going to go to the cash part in a while. Peter, tell me if we can have the performance on YouTube and streaming on the networks. Our Peter there. while we go to Cashbot. But you can start us. Yeah. Okay. So for those who are watching on YouTube and Facebook, you'll still be able to hear both. All right. So let us see. Carl, you want to start us off with something? Take us to Cashbot.
Yeah.
Yes.
I am inviting you to my native land, where you can hear good calypso song. I am inviting.
We're going to take a quick break, come forward and have a discussion with Herbie Miller and Dr. Daniel Neely as we look at the history, the sound, the origin of Mento music. A quick break.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah, there they are. All right. Tell us about your work, though. Mento music from Irish, and I'm not surprised, though, Irish music, Mento music, and so on. But tell us about your work.
Well, I became interested in Jamaican music when I was in high school. Really, there was a revival of ska music that happened in the United States, and I just listened to it and I thought it was great. And then there was Boston College had a radio program, and I lived outside of Boston. It was the DJ was a guy named Matisse Porins, and he would play all the cool ska. And he played one day he played Man in the Street, and I was like, whoa, this is amazing. It was the Scatolites. And so I became really interested in ska music, and I went to college in New York, and I went to ska shows, in the early '90s and the mid '90s, and I enjoyed bands like the Slackers and the Stubborn All Stars, and there was a scene there called the Virgin City scene, which is pretty cool. Victor Rice, the bass player, was amazing, and I graduated, and there was a band called Skavuvi and the Epitones of Boston, and they needed a guitar player, so I started touring with them. That sort of gave me some roots. And then I went to graduate school for ethnomusicology. And when it came time to decide what kind of, what I wanted to study, I thought, well, maybe I'll do a project on ska. And I started doing a literature review. And I saw that other people were working on ska and had, really interesting connections to it that I didn't have. And I had when I was doing some work, there was a professor at NYU named Stephen Feld, and he gave me a Jolly Boys album. And I was like, wow, this is great. And in the literature review, I found that really nobody had ever... Well, there were a lot of people from, Europe and the United States who had written about Mento music, but it was always at the beginning of a book about reggae. And usually they said, they'd list a few names and said, these are foundational musicians, really, really important. But they wouldn't say anything about them. And they wouldn't say anything really about why Mento was interesting or important, because, there wasn't a book about Mento, it was a book about reggae. And it was always framed as like a grandfather of reggae, or something that was not its own thing, I should say. And so I said, well, maybe this might be an interesting topic. So I applied for a couple grants in the summer that I got in the summer 2000. And I visited Jamaica for the first time, not having ever been there before, and not knowing a soul. I stayed at the Ed Manley School. They had a hostel, and I met some wonderful people there. And they had a collection of Olive Loon's materials. At that point, they hadn't been digitized, so they're on reel-to-reel tape. And Marjorie Wiley's materials are there too. And then Marjorie Wiley and Joyce Campbell, through the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission, held a seminar, as fate would have it, a seminar at UWI that was intended to teach teachers how to teach children about Mento music for a planned JCDC festival. So I went to that, and it was interesting to see what kind of Mento was being taught. And I didn't know how to ask that question yet, because I didn't know there were different, I didn't know that there could be stylistic nuance in Mento, because of course it was just, really important music before reggae, but I hadn't heard that much of it. And, I hadn't met really any Mento musicians, and it was, so I got an interesting perspective on it. And during that trip, I met the Rod Dennis Mento Band, and really crucially, the Blue Glaze Mento Band, which was a band that I spent an awful lot of time hanging around when I was doing my field work. Mm-hmm. So anyway, from there, I went back home, and, with my brain full from meeting people, and then going to the National Library. There's a wonderful collection of material at the National Library, and if you're careful, you can find a lot about Mento history in it, which I became well acquainted with.
And this is where I want to go with your research, because you talk about Jamaica's original music for Mento music.
That's sort of tongue-in-cheek.
Talk to us about that idea and why.
Well, so when you're of my complexion and coming from my country and start asking people about Mento music, everybody wants to tell you, yes, Mento, man, is Jamaica's original music. And it's, it was just a trope that I heard all the time. Now, there are a lot, Mento wasn't the first rural social dance music, and it certainly isn't the only kind of music around. And but I like the title because it's sort of, attention grabbing and does track with how a lot of people in Jamaica, I think about Mento music.
Yeah, you're quite right about that. People really do go to Mento when we're talking about the origin. A lot of people do go there. So what is Mento music in terms of what your research found? And you've written so much about this, Dan. You've published widely on this.
Well, it's interesting. So Mento is a style of there's a lot of things. It's a style of music. It's a dance. It's a rhythm. A Mento is in the turn of the 20th century, a Mento was a selection of different figures for quadrille. They just refer to that as a Mento. Sometimes a Mento is the fifth figure of a quadrille. There are all sorts of things that Mento can be. So it's hard to sort of pin down, and I don't know where the word comes from. Some people say it's a I think there was a Herbert de Lisser, who owned the Gleaner at the turn of the 20th century. I think he described Mento as a corruption of the Spanish word mentar, which means to say, which I'm not sure is correct. Some people say it's an African word, which I'm not sure is correct. I've seen on record, on the very exact same record, on the A side, it says Jamaican Mento, M-E-N-T-O, and on the B side it says Jamaican Minto, M-I-N-T-O. And I don't know what the difference is. And sometimes, I should say there's no difference. I think that was just a typographical nuance that was mistaken. But it can be a lot of different things.
In terms of the blend of sounds, how would you describe it?
Well, if you want to go back historically, people will say it's the rhythm of Africa and the melody of Europe, which I think is sort of a reductionist way of looking at it. It has a lot of different stylistic influences. And the Mento that we sort of consider sort of like high period, golden era Mento would be a combination of Jamaican Mento as it existed before 1935 and Cuban son. There were a lot of returned laborers who came back from Jamaica, from Cuba, and at the same time, a lot of people of working the same sort of, milieu in eastern Cuba went back to Haiti. And there's a music there called Troubadour, which sounds just like Mento. Rumba box, banjos, the whole nine. So I think that when people were coming back from Cuba, and Lord Tannenbaugh told me that the first rumba box he saw was a guy coming back from Cuba. It's very Cuban influenced, and if you listen and dig down into the recordings from the 50s where it had time to develop, you hear things like clave, which you never hear in Jamaica. It's just something that, that's not a Jamaican thing, it's a Cuban thing. You hear introductory phrases, da-da-da-dum, bum, bum, ba-dum, ba-dum. Those are all over Son recordings from the 30s and 20s. Ba-dum, ba-dum, which sometimes people called the bragadap. That's all over Cuban recordings. So there's like a strong Cuban influence in I would say in Mento, but it's not always like that. So yeah, I mean that's
in terms of the African influence, because also from Cuba you have the obviously the Afro-Cuban music, which is
well, I would say the I think when I went to the Mento seminar, they described it as a 3+3+2 rhythm. So I duck it, duck it, duck it, duck it. That's, I call that sort of an asymmetrical timeline pattern. So an asymmetrical timeline pattern would be an African inheritance. Where you actually don't think about it, tuck, 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 tuck. You're thinking sort of in a syncopated way. Mm-hmm. So to me, that is the African, very strong African influence there.
What I find interesting is
song forms too. I mean, call and response and things like that would be. This is sort of the dry academic version of it, but those would be the things I'd listen for and say like, oh yeah, those are African.
Well, in terms of responses coming into my personal text WhatsApp and also on the IRFM WhatsApp, there's so many people writing in from the continent of Africa who were pretty excited, just saying, "Well, this is Jamaican people are Africans, man. I mean, this is Jamaican music," and there's a whole lot of conversation going on across the continent of Africa this morning, where people are talking about how African this is. And I'm going to ask our listeners who are saying how African this is, give us the names of the African music because they're writing from Malawi, from Ethiopia, from Congo, from Ghana, from Nigeria. So this discussion that is happening in the spaces this morning is pretty interesting. So give me the name of the particular music for your region that you're comparing Mento to, and also the dance.
I mean, from Africa?
Yeah, people are listening this morning.
Well,
yes.
so when I think of research has been done on this, I think of researchers who have looked at people who were brought over during the slavery period from the Central Sudanic Plain as the people who brought over asymmetrical timeline patterns. But I would not say that that's necessarily like the entire case. I don't know. I think that Mento developed in Jamaica from sort of a concatenation of different people of different African backgrounds. So it's hard to pin down, just like any kind of, I think, African influence in the United States, exactly where something comes from, or anywhere in sort of what you might call the New World. Yes. So it's pretty tough to determine exactly, point for point. Now there are exceptions to this. So for example, Kumina, which is from St. Thomas, we know that based on sort of like linguistic elements that are in it, it can be pinpointed to two different parts of the Central African Republic. So but Mento doesn't really work like that, and it's not like a ceremonial tradition where things get maintained in a particularly reverent way. It's there's in a way there's a utilitarian approach to how Mento gets played. That's is stylistically related to the moment in which it's being played.
I think you've written about this also, where the sound of Mento, its similarity to calypso or kaiso. And we had kaiso this morning, actually.
This is a whole thing though, because a lot of people say, oh yeah, Mento is just like calypso from Jamaica, and I actually don't. I push back on that pretty hard because Trinidad's very far away from Jamaica, and it's not like there's a lot of, there were definitely Calypsonians who went to Jamaica completely, but most of them went after World War II, and then they were only in Jamaica for a brief period of time. So I can't say that you find some Trinidadian repertory, but it's not like, it doesn't have the high turnover, that you would want to see, I think, to say like, oh yeah, there's a lot of influence here. I would say there's more, Spanish influence, but for calypso, you really see the word calypso happen in 2 points. The first time I come across the word calypso in Jamaica is in 1939, after a whole boatload of calypso records were released by Decca Records. And so there were two guys in Jamaica who were like sort of at the forefront of Mento music. They were a singing duo named Slim and Sam, and they were incredibly important. Sam died in 1942, I think, and I'm not sure when the other man died. But after those records came out, they started referring to themselves as Calypsonians, which they're taking advantage of. Prior to that, Mento had been called Rumba, Jamaica Rumba. There was a guy named Astley Clerk who was a composer Astley Clerk critiqued it. I'm forgetting the name of the composer, but he put out some sheet music called Jamaica Rumba, which became very famous internationally. But it was called Rumba because of the Cuban influence, because Rumba was the sound of music at the time. Then, after World War II, when Jamaica's tourism sector was building up more fully, any music being played by someone with brown skin singing in English became called calypso because that was a marketing tool. So early Jamaican records have both words Mento and calypso on them, and then over the course of the 50s, the notion that that music was calypso only intensified after 1955, when Harry Belafonte put out the calypso record, which sparked off the calypso craze. So the Jamaican person who was the largest part of that calypso craze was a guy named Lord Flea. Lord Flea was basically Jamaica's first international superstar. He was playing at the Glass Bucket with Lord Fly. They went off to Miami in 1954. Fly came back because he didn't like the racism he experienced. He was sort of light-skinned, and that he was not used to being treated like that, how he got treated in Miami. Lord Flea stayed, and when he stayed, He had a success in Miami. Then he went to Las Vegas. Then he went to California, and he was in a couple of films. One called Bop Girl Goes Calypso, and I'm forgetting the name of the other one offhand. He was an international superstar. He died in 1959 of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. But if you look at interviews of him during the Calypso phase, he's very straightforward. He goes, the music we play is Mento. We just call it Calypso because that's what tourists want. If you look at the records that came out in Jamaica, for the most part, in the 1950s, I can put all the musicians who call themselves Calypsos in hotels. Every single one of them. You know, and you know, it was a marketing term that sort of became, out for lack of a better term, indigenized. And at the time of independence, when you know, the first comprehensive national festival for the arts was being put on, they went back in the opposite direction. All these bands became called Mento bands, and in fact, the professional bands, which were the Calypsonians, got weeded out of that competition. So if you were, say, a member of the musicians union, you weren't permitted to compete in the festival for the arts. So it's a loaded term, really. People call it Calypso, of course, and you know, I'm not going to begrudge anybody for that.
And outside of what they call it, what about the sound that is consistent to some extent, or strains of it throughout the Caribbean? To what extent this is African memory, whether it is high life or otherwise, as opposed to the colonial era memories?
Yeah, I would say that on record you are hearing less. I mean, you know, the song forms you'll hear, they're particular song forms and things that you hear which say to me, oh yeah, this is resonant with practices that you'd hear around Africa, but it isn't. But when my experience is that when you get out into like country and you are playing with musicians who aren't trying to be something that somebody else wants them to be, that's when you have very authentic experience of people from African heritage where they let their vibe kind of show. And that's to me where you, so you know, I mentioned the Blue Glaze Mento band earlier. Nelson Chambers, the banjo player, and I used to, you know, move around a lot, and you know, he'd take me to nine nights and things, and you know, different types of parties where Blue Glaze would be playing, and you know, it was just a different kind of experience, but one that to me, you know, was very inclusive of different musical traditions, and anything that was anything that you might find in Jamaica that you would call African would be something that would be welcome and just grow out of these moments in a way that you wouldn't necessarily hear on record.
All right, let me take a quick break, and I see Herbie Miller has joined us, so we come back, we talk to Herbie Miller, the director, curator of the Jamaica Music Museum. Please stay with us. Us now is director and curator of the Jamaica Music Museum, Herbie Miller, no stranger to the program. Remember, you can listen to us on the 107s, of course, 107.1 all the way to 107.9 on. We're streaming live on irfm.net. We're also on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, wherever we are social media platform, wherever social media platform exists, we're on it. We're on it. All right, so go check us out. We're streaming live. My brother Herbie Miller, how you doing, sir?
Great, you know. How you doing, sis?
Good to see you. Good to see you. Well.
Yes, you look done.
Hey, how you doing?
All right, man.
Herbie, did you get a chance to see the Jolly Boys perform this morning, or no?
No, I wasn't able to see, but I was listening.
Yeah. Well, we've been having a ball here.
I realize.
What's the state of Mento music in Jamaica, Herbie?
You know, there are a few remnants of a few surviving bands around. So many of these older guys have passed. And you know, younger musicians have joined, and they've brought to the music a little bit more modernism. Their repertoire tends to go towards contemporary reggae tracks, Mento style, particularly music by Marley, of course. They're not as many as they were even when Dan was doing his research. But, you know, at the Institute of Jamaica, with our focus on culture, we tend to bring in Mento music as much as we can, and to try and have especially youngsters, schoolers, understand that is, not was, but continues to be a part of our musical culture. In fact, the Mento musicians' influence even on dance hall, if you listen keenly, is quite amazing. But the direct connection, I think, is virtually lost.
And when you say the direct connection, Herbie, what do you mean?
To say the young schoolers being exposed on a regular basis to perform in Mento music. Let me give you an example. As a youngster growing up, for instance, every garden party, every community event, there was Bim and Bam and Miss Lou and Masran and Mento bands. Indeed, even as tourist ships came into Kingston Harbor, there were Mento bands welcoming them. At the airport, there were Mento bands welcoming us all back home. I don't think you have as many today, and so the opportunity to be exposed is quite limited for today's youngsters trying to get in, for example, the festival competition.
How much if we're not listening to Sam and Slim mentioned earlier by Dan, how far have we come from Mento, gone from Mento, if you will, or the original Mento? Because you've said it's more modernized, it's moving towards the reggae beat. How far away have we gone, if you were to track this, away from the original sound of Mento? What's missing or not?
Not too far that I'd say missing are some of the original instruments like the rumba box, the banjo, to an extent a fife. But now you're finding a bass guitar and electric guitars,
keyboard,
stuff like that.
We got a keyboard in the studio this morning, and that is replicating the banjo sound, which is cool.
There you go. So the authenticity, visually, and as we hear it, it doesn't connect us in the way that an earlier generation was, and that's to be expected. You know, we have moved away from acoustic drums to drum machines, through electric drums, by the way, and this is coming all the way back from a log with an animal skin stretched across it. So we can't fight development and technology and modernism, but there's a way where perhaps the JCDC or the Ministry of Culture, certainly the Institute of Jamaica, can keep these forms alive more actively, not just when it's Heritage Week and it's Independence Weekend and stuff like that. We really want to see like repertory, theater repertory bands, etc. set up. So, for example, a few years ago, Dan was a part of my Grown Nation series called Mento is All the Music Sweet. So 4 weeks of not just scholarly discussions, but bringing out all the reggae musicians we could locate, having them tell their stories. But that's not enough.
Mento music is not really played much on radio, if any at all. Why do you think this is so?
Because each generation of listeners, musicians, teachers, etc., are informed by what they are taught right away. And so if we don't have, for example, Roy Black used to have a little segment on one of his radio shows where he played Mento and talked about Mento. When Clinton Hutton and I had a radio program, we always played Mento.
I remember that, yes.
But you're right, we don't hear it as much as we should. It should be in the mix as much as anything else. And yes, the other day I heard a radio station playing some Mento, and it was good, but it shouldn't be just occasionally. It ought to be a part of the educational programming, because I think in addition to the entertainment aspect of our music and our culture in general, without an educational component, it will just move on. Others will stick to the authentic sound abroad, as we see with all the ska bands and other cultures embracing it, while we don't even know who Bob Marley is in certain communities in Jamaica.
And that's true.
That's sad.
It's frightening, but it is.
It is true.
It is true.
We don't know what we are trying to convey through through music, Mento and otherwise. Mento music had an aspect to it where they were singing about Hitler and Mussolini. So it wasn't just Linstead Market, which is a deep part of what we are, but addressing international carrying on.
The storytelling, social commentary. I listen to Matilda many times, and every time I hear it, I say there's something to Matilda, because that whole Venezuela connection that we don't pay a lot of attention to, but so many of our people here from Jamaica have either studied in Venezuela, worked in Venezuela, and it's quite right that Matilda would have taken the money and gone to Venezuela because of that connection that Jamaica has with Venezuela. But so it I think it's for me, I remember growing up and hearing my grandfather talking about Venezuela, but he came from Cuba, so that's a whole other connection.
But the whole connection between Costa Rica, deep Jamaican community, Cuba, deep Jamaican community,
Panama
Venezuela as well,
yes.
Panama, of course. And so Matilda could have gone to any one of those countries.
Yes, Venezuela. She gone. If you look into it,
Matilda who chose another country to run within the Latin American, Central American area.
Yes.
That district that we are a part of.
So Dan, does Mento connect us back to, in a way that we, the Jamaicans who are just listening to the music and dancing are not necessarily studying it, connecting us on another level to our neighbors in South America, in Spanish-speaking America?
So there's a lot to talk about here. Matilda, I think, is actually a Trinidadian song, and I think it might have been done by King Radio. So the proximity to Trinidad makes sense. But this is kind of what I was saying before. There's a lot of there's borrowing from the Trinidadian repertoire that shows up. So when I think about Mento, I'm thinking about the real life connections to things. Now, but before I get into that second, I just want to turn back where Herbie had said that Mento changes and the way it sounds today isn't like the way it was. I mean, I think one of the things we all have to understand is that the rumba box wasn't a part of Mento music. It didn't exist at all in Jamaica until the 1920s. That's not a Jamaican instrument. That's something that came over through son to Jamaica via Cuba. And before that, there was a lot of drums and fifes, and occasionally you'd see a clarinet or a violin. But I did some research in the British Library and found recordings that were made in the 1950s of a very old band called the Tule Mento Group, the Tule Orchestra. I'm sorry, and they had a clarinet and a cello. And I'd come across references to bands with cellos in the past, but it's not something you ever hear in a Mento band ever. At all anymore. So the music does change. But when I look at the shared experience between Jamaica's neighbors Cuba, or to a degree the United States as being important places where stylistic exchange happens, and but also you're able to find the common ground. So people who have African heritage, or Mento music. One of the things that makes Mento is it's a polyrhythmic relationship between all the different instruments. So the guitar is going to play one rhythm, the banjo is going to play another rhythm, the drums are going to play another rhythm. You know, you might have shakas doing something, and you know, all that stacks. So like the sum total of all those parts together is something that makes Mento music Mento. But also each little part, individual part, can be, you know, referred to as a Mento beat as well. But like those rhythms and that approach to stacking rhythms into a way that where it's sort of polyrhythmic, that's something that, you know, the African diaspora shares throughout. And so, you know, it's a portable music. So if you go from Jamaica, say, to, I don't know, pick a country, any country around the Caribbean where, you know, an acoustic tradition still exists, you'll be able to find a way to fit together and express your shared past and your shared history.
True.
So I don't look at specific songs necessarily as being like, you know, things like that, but I look at like small things that maybe aren't quite so obvious when you listen to it on record, but is very, very clear when you see it happening in person. Yeah.
All right, let me take a hold your thought, Herbie. When we come back, we come to you.
Connect ourselves from Africa, we cease to be a world people. Without the African connection, we are a disjointed people, begging for the entry into somebody else's house.
All right, the words there of Amilcar Cabral. It's 9:34. You're inside of the Africa Forum. This is Running Africa, and my very special guest is Mento all morning, and we have the Jolly Boys in studio. They are in Studio B, getting ready to play the music again. And in the next segment, we're going to be having the Jolly Boys doing one of Ernie Smith's special songs. We are paying tribute throughout the month, and as long as it takes, we always pay tribute to Uncle Ernie, as we call him in this space. Online on Zoom, Herbie Miller, director and curator of the Jamaican Music Museum, is with us. Daniel Neely, musician, ethnomusicologist, and his research on Mento. Just Google him name as my brother and friend Herbie Miller. Tell me if you don't Google him name, and you'll see the work that he's done on Mento, and it is as Herbie said. Herbie, I saw you wanted to get in before, so let me just go to that if you recall what you wanted to say. Yes.
Dan mentioned the Tule Mento band. I want to just show you a photograph of them.
That's
yes. It. Wow. Yes. So if you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening on the radio, you're not seeing this, but if you are on the live stream, YouTube or Facebook or any of our social media platforms, and the band is?
The Tule Mento Band.
The Tule Mento Band. This is
that's circa 1955 with Prince Campbell on clarinet.
Prince Campbell, that's right.
Wow. Do you have anything from them there, Herbie, that you can play off your computer, or Dan?
Dan would more likely have something by them.
Yeah.
If there is anything at all, Dan would have it.
Wow.
I don't know if I can put my hands on it.
Were you able to play anything by Slim and Sam?
No, so because we're doing live Mento this morning, so we didn't. But we'll come back for the sound of Mento when we do the history. And Peter is here telling me that you're going to do ska, whatever it takes. You're going to do ska. You're going to have the ska musicians in the studio in the very same way. So we call you both. But look at that, ska. I see you, Herbie. Yeah, we're all going to wear a ska t-shirt. Sorry, go ahead, Dan.
Can I found the recording of that band? Would you like to hear it? I mean,
yes, please. How does that work, Peter? Are we able to do that? Can play from his computer? Yes, go ahead.
Okay.
All right, so let's see what we can hear from.
If you give me a second, I can also dig up another field recording.
I'll give you all the time you want, Dan, because you're doing really, really well this morning. That's so. What are the instruments that we're listening to there? What's
those three instruments? You had a singer, you had a clarinet player, and you had a cello
and violin.
Yeah.
So when we were putting the paper on the comb and blowing it, were we trying to because I heard something like that.
When you did what?
You know, when we were, I don't know if you did it, Herbie, but growing up in Jamaica, we wrapped the comb, the comb for the hair with paper.
Thing over the comb, and then like a harmonica.
It's a harmonica thing. We did. I try again, but because I hear that sound, you know, like it reminds me of my childhood.
Yeah.
It's the violin on the top end that gives you that sound, and of course the clarinetist is playing up in that register as well.
Yes.
One of the things I want to point out is, though these gentlemen, as they appear in that context, are supposedly representing a sort of European aesthetic with the cello and the violin and the clarinet, keep in mind that as Europe has its own tradition such as that, there's a very, very strong connection to the African tradition to stringed instruments as well.
Of course.
So we can't just look at it in that social context to say, oh, it's so colonial that they are doing that. Look at it in the context of, yes, some of these instruments might come out of Europe, but there are similar types of instruments throughout the whole continent of Africa.
Most definitely.
And the approach, the style of playing is going to reflect that rather than too much of the classic European style.
Yes, go ahead, Dan.
So I was able to put my hands on another recording. This is another field recording, non-commercial, that was made in 1938. There was a woman named Laura Bolton who she was a folklorist who visited Jamaica very briefly. These recordings are housed at the they might be the Library of Congress now, but they were at the Indiana University Traditional Music Archives, and there's a copy at the Edna Manley School. I think that Marjorie Wiley is the person who was able to bring them back, but Laura Bolton made recordings of what was, the documentation on the file was Unidentified Street Duo. Now, it was in Kingston in 1938, and I'm sure there are a variety of people who could have been, but I brought these recordings. I played them for a Mento singer named Clyde Hoyt, and then I also sent them to Miss Lou. And then I talked to Miss Lou, and she said, yes, these are Slim and Sam. So Slim and Sam, these are recordings, and of the songs on it, I've actually been able to trace, put them as Slim and Sam songs. Not all of them, because their thing was that they used to write songs, print them out on tracks, and sell them on Spanish China Road. And these tracks made their way, and they traveled around Jamaica via train. Yeah. And they would sell these tracks all over Jamaica. So these songs would spread throughout Jamaica on paper, and they'd make a bag of money selling their tracks for like a penny a piece or whatever. But that's how they made their living. And Slim and Sam inspired other people to come along, like Alerth Badassi and Everald Williams. But you may not know those names. Everald Williams is probably the greatest songwriter in Jamaican history, if you're asking my opinion, because he was responsible for most of the classic mentos that we remember today. But Williams and Badassi were the nucleus for the Chins Calypso Sextet. Slim and Sam also inspired the great Mento singer Count Lasha, because before Count Lasha became Count Lasha, he was selling tracks just like they did on the street. But so this is an example of Slim and Sam. The song's called Whoppum Boppum. Music in Jamaica either. There were two anthropologist women who went to rural St. Elizabeth in 1920 and 1921, Helen Roberts and Martha Beckwith. And Helen Roberts brought along a cylinder recorder and made a whole lot of cylinder recordings that are pretty remarkable. They're not great quality, but you can hear what's going on in them. And what's interesting about that is that they're pre-1930, which is when all the son business, all the Rumba business begins. So this is a very, very early stage of Mento, when to call it Mento is sort of it's not a commercial sound, so it's just a folk song. But what I found really interesting about those recordings, and I don't have any of those to hand right now. I mean, I have them, but I would have to dig them up, and it would take a bit of time.
We'll definitely invite you back for that.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yes, yes.
What Helen Roberts did was she recorded Figures of Quadrille, which is incredible because it's incredible. I think it's incredible because if you compare her recordings to recordings of quadrille made in 1955 and in 1971 and in the 80s and in the early 2000s, there is a remarkable consistency in terms of what's happening. People, I think the dancers, people who dance quadrille in Jamaica will understand this, but musicians typically don't. Quadrille is a continental dance form that came to Jamaica in the early 19th century and mid 19th century, and it was the sort of social dance that people did. It was adapted in Jamaica, and I think that it was a masking. You were able to mask traditional practice from, the colonial authority by dancing in a format that they understood, which would be quadrille, but doing it in your own way, which is drawing sort of like the African, choreographic language into the whole thing. So there were developed sort of two parallel strains of quadrille. There was the camp style, which is sort of like the more African, and the ballroom style, which would be sort of the more European. But the interesting thing about quadrille is that each figure of the quadrille, 1 through 4, has a very specific melodic and rhythmic thing attached to it. Now, the melodies aren't the same, but the dance rhythms are. And so if you listen to the recordings that Helen Roberts made in rural St. Elizabeth in the 20s, Figure 1, the rhythm of Figure 1 is exactly the same as Figure 1 being played in Mucko and Clarendon in 2003. Figure 2 in 1920 is the exact same rhythm as Figure 2 on the 1955 recording that the Chins Calypso Chins radio service recorded in 1956 or whatever it was. And so like there's an interesting sort of timeline that remains unbroken, and you can that's the traditional side of things that I think sometimes is at the risk of being lost. There's a guy, and I don't always love the stories about people who come from foreign to go to Jamaica to collect stuff. It's something that you have to be very sort of cognizant of, the footprint that you leave. But there was a guy in 1935 who went and collected a whole bunch of songs from some singers on Spanish Town Road. He wrote these songs down, and they're in the Spanish Town archives. But they're, songs that are of a particular moment that give social commentary, and it's not just the songs themselves, but it's like the songwriting process and the quick turnaround that is very much like dancehall today, or maybe not exactly today, but maybe 20 years ago, say. But it's sort of like there was a scholar, I think, who called it the changing same, but there's you see the way things happen similarly over time, and that's one of the interesting things to me about sort of Mento music. So like this song that I just played for you, the Slim and Sam song, it's a song about sort of poking fun at people with a bit of like social commentary that's also something that's this is taking place now, and it's very current for 1938, and something that I think people should take the opportunity to sort of listen back to because it's interesting.
Well, Herbie, you and Dan taking us to school, right? Music school. And, I'm listening and I'm thinking, but we do have to make space for these kinds of conversation, this kind of music, and this kind of public education. So this is the commitment to self that I'm making this morning, just listening to you both. We're totally out of time, but I give you a minute, Herbie, just to quickly, to wrap, but also to quickly say something about Ernie Smith as you go.
Wow, Ernie. Ernie Smith represented that avenue of our local music that, people like Ken Lazarus and Pluto, among others, sort of represented. It's a bridge into Uptown Market. And so, I'm not taking anything away from him. My personal relationship as a friend was just remarkable. He lived out there where you guys are in the country. It took you forever to go through the winding road, so you had to overnight, so to speak. Yeah. And the loss of... let me say this, though. We're all talking about people like Ernie Smith today. Why weren't we talking about Ernie Smith when Ernie was around?
Herbie, so between me and Big A, we're going to take serious umbrage to that because we talk about Ernie. We don't talk about Ernie. I don't mean Ernie's always in the studio. Here we call Ernie Uncle Ernie.
But let me say what.
Herbie, take it back.
From you. Let me be
clear.
Me and
Big A. Big A just walk in.
Yes, I'm Big A. Here's Big A.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is today everyone is
talking about Ernie. But we are always talking about
Ernie.
Ernie.
Like so many others who have passed. Suddenly it's like, let's deal with these people. Let's praise them. Let's elevate them. But it's a great loss. It's a shame we didn't have more of him in the last 20, 30 years as a performer, as a recording artist. But things change, and he settled into whatever his style was.
Yeah.
I want to quickly say International Jazz Day, UNESCO's endorsement. We have it again this year. It's going to be at the Ronnie Williams Center Thursday coming, the 30th of April. It's a great lineup. Matt McGuinness will do tribute to our great Joe Harriet Dan from Alpha Boys School, and Dan just put his neck out there to say if he would name the greatest songwriter, it would be Dan Williams.
He said.
If I would name the greatest musician we produce, it would be Joe Harriet.
Okay.
And,
I'm not arguing with that.
Yeah.
So
I can't even participate in that conversation. I'm just going to leave them with it.
Joe Harriet's compositions.
Yeah.
And we have a great lineup.
Yes.
For Thursday evening. It's free to the public. Ronnie Williams, 7 p.m. Thursday.
Jazz. Yeah.
Please spread the word.
Thank you so much, Herbie. Thank you so much, Dan. I look forward to having you both back. And Dan, please find those music because we want to hear them in the space. Thank you so much for what you did this morning.
Anytime.
Yes, give thanks. All right,
Tabu,
Herbie
give
Miller.
thanks for keeping the torch burning, sister.
Thank you so much. Big A, say big up yourself. Big A, say big up yourself.
Yes, Big A. We're big all the way.
Him off camera, you know. He refuses to even come here to say hello. Right? Right. But he's right here. All right. Thank you, Dan.
Man.
Thank you.
Bye, Jolly Boys.
Catch up soon.
Bye, Jolly Boys. Dan saying bye.
The Jolly Boys, one love, brethren.
One love.
Thank you. We're going to go out with the Jolly Boys because they're going to be in the last few minutes that we have before Big A comes in with the Sunday Sunshine to do a quick tribute in song to Uncle Ernie Smith, who when we hang out with Ernie, we go celebrate Jimi Hendrix. I don't think everybody knows that is when we're Ernie party is Jimi Hendrix. We go celebrate. Yes.
My celebration of Jimi Hendrix is with
Lake him.
Yes,
Lake him. But it's Lake him. It's the same place. Lake him Samaj is the very same place down in the valley there. Lake him need to do some more Jimi Hendrix celebrations. Come on.
Yes.
All right. So. Give thanks. So we go to the Jolly Boys who are in studio, quick tribute to Uncle Ernie. Over to you, Carl. Over to you. You ready? Are you ready?
I'm gonna do.
Lawrence is gonna do those for me.
All right, quickly. Okay, so Lawrence is gonna lead this. Yes, go ahead, Lawrence.
I man forward on a different scene. I man Hollywood, and I man Queen. Everything but irate, getting in the groove. I just come down to movement when someone said don't move. Must be a dopey or a gunman. I want to find out yet. I was a fright. All the daughter name I forget. Must be a dopey or a gunman. I never stopped to see. Quarry was a boy to Ivan last night. He couldn't follow. Me. Next day the daughter asked me, what happened to you last night? Just when you're ready to work the show, you get stage fright. It was a dread from across the gully, just passing through this side to run a little joke. He wouldn't trouble you. Must be a dopey or a gunman. I man no find out yet. I was a fright. All the daughter name I forget. Must be a dopey or a gunman. I never stopped to see. Dan Quarry was a boy to Iman last night. He couldn't find.
Rest in power, Uncle Ernie. Travel safely. May your journey into the iPod, iPad, iSoot be peaceful. What is your favorite Ernie song, BA? Oh, you tell me you love Desiderato, but he didn't.
On the day you asked me,
Okay, anytime. Okay, let me turn on that mic. You're off camera, so you're good if you put on the mic.
No, my favorite Ernie depends on the day and the time that you ask me. And of course the mood. I was just reflecting the other day. I was going through his songs and came across even some forgotten hits of Ernie, and then I just couldn't stop playing Alvin. Alvin, you remember that song? That became a part of the Two is Better Than Too Many campaign by the Family Planning organization way back. And yeah, man, Alvin just left school the other day, and he found himself with lots of time to play. Right, 1 and 1 could be 2, but listen to me, because better be careful what you do.
You could
wind up with 3.
Yes.
No, that was an earworm that was just stuck in my head for days, and there was just no other Ernie at that particular point in time. And then I remember when in the days when Michael Manley made a cliche very popular. Hail the man.
Hail the man. Yes.
That is how we used to greet.
Yes.
You know, even Muta still do that.
Yes,
right?
he does. Yes.
Right, and of course, you remember Hail the Man, which is a big song from Ernie Smith. Hail the man every time we meet. Then there is, you know, as we fight one another for the power and the glory.
And he was banned. He was exiled. He had to go into exile for that one.
Right. He got a lot of pages.
Yeah.
Right. You remember, I don't know if you know El Seda. El Seda tells the story of a man who is a Friday evening and getting paid, but he's confused as to how to spend it because there are just so many things to do. Him owe for the lunch last week, him baby mother there at the gate a ball, him need for drink 2 waters before him going home. It is that
he was very socially conscious like that, because one of his last recordings was Nothing I Got Change.
One of his last recordings, as I remember, I know that. And then you remember he teamed up with Pluto, which a lot of people thought was with his adversary for a song called That's the Kind of People We Are. And it gave a look as to the kind of contradictory nature that we are as a Jamaican. When gunshot fire, we run towards it rather than from it. And that kind of.
I think that might be second to last. That now got change nothing. Them last one. That now change nothing.
As I said, I don't remember.
Yeah, but he was recording just the same.
Of these songs.
Even I mean, he hasn't left the studio.
Right. No, man,
he's left the building, but he's still in the studio.
No, man, for real.
Yeah.
There are just so many songs in his catalog. His rendition of covers is also.
Oh yes.
He has done some classic covers. Longfellow.
Sunday morning coming down.
Sunday morning. I know you're going there.
I know, because that's how I met him.
Some others that you probably
I
don't
know.
remember. Like Longfellow Serenade, which is a Need Live and classic. And so on. Just a awesome,
phenomenal
artist. Uncle Ernie was just that kind of.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Peter Potter yet, and life is just
and
all of that.
All of that.
and all of that. He won.
I mean, we could be here all morning,
The Yamaha festival over in Japan in 1972.
Oh well, you see.
I remember
I don't know.
Yeah, man, you remember? Life is Just for Living.
I know Life is Just for Living, but not from the festival.
Life is Just for Living was a Red Stripe commercial, That was refigured for the competition, and he walked away the winner.
Oh, I never had
that competition.
I don't know that.
He has produced songs for people like Ken Lazarus and written songs for Tinga Stewart. Play the Music was written by Ernie Smith. Right?
Listen, we're going to there all day now. It's Ernie Smith we're talking about.
Uncle Herbie needs to spend the time more.
Uncle Herbie.
I listen to our Anna. Because it is somebody that, me personally, And by extension, Amber and several
Bob Clark in the days. I mean, Austin this space. He was part of this IRFM family. Without a doubt, part of the family. Let me just take 1 minute for you, Biggie. Give me 1 minute. Let me just wrap up with the Jolly Boys and one girl. The Jolly Boys and one girl. I'm going to give you a chance now just to say hi.
Jolly Boys and the ladies.
Yeah, and the ladies. Just to say hi quickly to your family in Portland, and because we're totally out of time.
Okay.
Thank you so much, though. Thank you so much. Yes.
First of all, I want to big up Harcourt, Prof.
Professor Harcourt Fuller.
Man.
Yes.
You always make the thing possible.
I know.
I want to big up Donald Deans, my manager, living in England.
Yes,
so,
yes.
He's not feeling well today, but
anyway,
we have to pick him up, because he's the one that make things going on for us right now. He's the first one that toured me to Rotterdam Sunsplash,
Oh, we were at Rotterdam Sunsplash.
Yeah, I got to Rotterdam Sunsplash.
We probably were there at the same time.
Yeah.
What year was it?
2019, I was at Rotterdam Sunsplash. He's the one that bring me there.
Okay, brilliant. All right, quickly, let us say, hear from you. Carl, sorry, anybody else want to say hi quickly?
Yeah, man, Raspadam here as my artist name as well, because I'm a reggae,
yes, Raspadam
artist.
Well, you have
man, so, just to say a quick shout out to all my family and friends over there in Charlestown in Buff Bay. The entire Maroon villages, because everyone from different Maroon villages are checking the internet,
True.
and they're here to listen to the program. So,
bless up everyone. You see what we should because we're out of time.
Yes, sir.
Give thanks, Raspadam.
Right.
Yes.
I am Chantel Valentine. Big up to everyone in Berrydale. Razia Said and
Berrydale, big up yourself. Give thanks. Anybody else? What about my 19-year-old friend?
Yes, hello to my granddaughter, Yannick, and her fiancé. And to my daughter in Port Antonio.
All right, brilliant.
Well, we're good now. We think that's it.
Oh, you're good now? All right, thank you so much, because I'm getting a French. All right, thank you so much. It was brilliant. We enjoyed the performances. Give Big Girl a piece before you come out now. Fire, wire, do. Just give it a little piece. We're going to come out with that piece. Yeah, fire.
I heard a calling.
This is how we say goodbye. I'll leave it to you, Biggie. I'll leave it to you. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Antoinette. Who else will leave out? Thank you, Alicia.
I saw one lady. She don't live with nobody. But if you hear her, God, the house on fire. It was shocking to hear her.
Fire. In a me wire, mama.
Bring me plenty water.
Fire. When I come
oh, I jump out my house like a crazy mouse. I thought it was a joke, but I don't see no smoke.